the stack in my bin, and there's still people talking over top of me. I realized that mastery deadline is when? Tomorrow. And a lot of you, meaning the majority, are not mastered in math right now. Because of, who can guess why? The Chapter 5 follow-up. So today, we are going to pause our forward progress. And just so you know, this makes me really upset because your irresponsibility, I'm just being real straight up with you, is making me lose a day of instruction. But I do not want 20 of you here on Discovery Day because you couldn't get your follow-up done 3 weeks ago, or okay, maybe 2 weeks ago, when we did the entire test review together. Every one of you had this worksheet, and I gave you like 3 or 4 days to get it done, and about 7 of you turned it in. And then I extended the deadline, and about 3 more of you turned it in. So if you can't find it right now, hopefully I have it, and I'm passing it back. Otherwise, you lost it, and you'll have to start over again. That is quarter 3. It must be mastered. Okay, so we are stopping forward progress to give you time to work on that. Now, if you don't need time to work on that, you're one of the few people that already hasn't mastered, make sure you're caught up on Chapter 6 homework, because there's a lot of people who aren't. And I have some of those turned in. I'm actually going to give those back. We're going to do Chapter 6 homework as one giant grade to start quarter 4. Because practice work, grab a seat for a second. I just got a few announcements to go through. Practice work doesn't necessarily keep you here, right? Like, if you have a lot of it, we'll tell you to stay here, like for Discovery Day, and that you need time to work on practice. But because practice work doesn't really keep you here, and Chapter 6 is mastery, we're going to push to quarter 4. Like, obviously, we snow days and stuff, we got behind schedule. We're going to make that just one big Chapter 6 practice, which is due Friday. Okay, so this Friday, and really you should have it done by Thursday to turn in, but by Friday, you need to have that in. I'm going to put it into MAP over the weekend as a quarter 4 grade, like Kabilo already posted a quarter 4 grade. It is going to be part of our decision-making process when we say should they go on the Discovery Day or not. So if you're missing the entire Chapter 6 homework for me, that's going to be a concern. Now, if you have everything else mastered, no other practice work missing for anyone, we'd probably be like, okay, they're behind in math, but they can go. But if you have other practice work missing or other stuff, probably going to be an issue. So let me get this all passed back, and then if you need to work together, that is okay. But I have, even if you turned in your follow-up, that doesn't mean like you're done. I'm losing track of where you guys are sitting. I had pretty high expectations on this because we did a lot of work with these. So really, if you missed like 1 or 2 things, I probably gave you a progressive on this follow-up. Just saw you. That's because he's standing right there. That's what.
Are you okay?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm ever okay.
You just tripped over the stool.
Well, no, not really. It just got in my way.
I know for a fact that I'm never okay.
Oh, sorry. I got you. You know, I used to think if I had like a cut, I should suck on it to put the blood back in my body.
What?
That is totally not true.
Does that.
Yeah, not used to like last year. Used to like when I was a little kid.
I just noticed it. Mine is like how I'm saving his hat.
No.
That is what I did.
Glad you're back.
It's like
You know, alright. Earl, you have an appointment yesterday.
Oh, you caught it.
You what?
Then why are you
Sorry to hear that.
She was sick. That's why I put 0.
I know.
Yeah.
But on a Monday, you never know if people have an appointment or if it's like sick or what.
Well, they just want to stay with my mom. Not that we do that sometimes.
Alright, that's all that I have. So if you didn't, I have some practice work still to hand back. If you didn't get back your Chapter 5 follow-up, you have it. And if you don't have it, you lost it. Which is okay, things happen. I will give you another one, but, you know, you should try not to lose things. You're killing trees. So let me get through, we're moving this, it's just dangerous. Let me get through passing back the rest of this stack. Like I said, if you're like done, caught up, you can go ahead and work on Chapter 6 closure. If you are caught up with Chapter 6 homework, you are good on the Chapter 5 follow-up, you can just go ahead and work on the closure, and you'll kind of get yourself moving ahead. Is Ava out today?
Yeah.
She got called to the office. I don't know if she
No,
left.
she's not here.
She wasn't here.
They probably called her to check if she
yeah.
was here.
That
Because
makes
if she
sense.
shows up, she's here.
She said
And if she doesn't show up, she's not here.
yeah, she said if you're in the building, for you to come in the office.
What's up?
Can I go back?
Yes, you're good on chapter 5 follow-up and chapter 6 homework? Okay, so we'll do that here in just a second. Yeah, if you got one back that says see me for mastery, that's also why we're taking this pause today. Because I know AO and extensions gets tough to, like, I don't have time to meet with everybody. I got Turbo one yesterday, but I've actually, I've held off on starting the disc golf club that I'm gonna start because I wanted to get past mastery deadline. So actually next week, I think Tuesday's a normal length day. I think I'll start disc golf if the weather's nice. We'll start next Tuesday potentially. I wanted to talk about a couple things really fast with the follow-up. So if you are still working on the follow-up, you probably might want to give me your attention. A lot of people struggled on number 1, and there's 2 different direct ways that we can do this. And especially if you have a see me for mastery, this might be what I wanted to talk to you about. But when I'm grading you individually, I don't know what I'm going to do whole group yet. So if you got to see me, especially if one of them was number 1, you should be paying attention right now. The way from the original mastery that would still work on this mastery is to set up that 35% of the classrooms are for 6th grade. That is actually 49 total classrooms for 6th grade. We want to figure out the total classrooms in the school. So we want to determine 100%. Line models, right, or linear models. This is what was on the original Chapter 5 Mastery. I just didn't restrict you to using that here. Because you could also set up 35% is related to 49 classrooms and build a proportion to try and do this. Now here's the only problem with building the proportion. This is tough. So if we don't know how to multiply forwards, we can divide backwards. Now if I'm not going to finish any of these, because it's on you to finish. So guys, if you got a progressing on your follow-up, you need to grab out another sheet of paper. I know, sorry, we use a lot of graph paper. Graph paper is also made really thin, so it doesn't, I hate using printer paper for stuff I don't need to, but graph paper, use as much of that as you want. So we should be separate page with revisions for this, or on a clean, just stick it on my binder right there, it's fine. Yeah. With the line model, what could, and I bet a bunch of us are gonna have even if you got this question right, give me your attention for a second. When we look at the numbers 35 and 49, what do we notice they could both be divided by? Not 5. 7. 35 and 49 are both multiples of 7. So if we divide by 7, we can find out that 5% is 7. How do I go from 5% to 100%?
I'm 20.
That's easy math. You don't have to do this complicated math. You can grab a calculator, do the division backwards, it works. But guys, you can make it easy. Set up a model that allows you to solve it more easily. Now in 2, the issues that we had there were primarily dealing with a percent value going to decimal. That does not mean write that number as 8.79 because that's the decimal percent value. What that means, and a lot of us, if I gave you 5%, turn it into a decimal, you'd be fine. You got part C correct, but on part B, guys, this means 8.79 over 100, which we can't really do because I can't have a decimal in my fraction. That's not a clean fraction. This becomes 879 over 10,000, or the other way that we can remember what we're doing is you just bump your decimal left 2 places. So to turn this number into a decimal, it would become 0.0879 because that hundredth, the percent out of 100, dividing by 100 moves your decimal left 2 places. On 3, our major issues were putting the results on the line. So I want to review tree diagram, talking about flipping a coin and then rolling a die. When I draw a tree diagram, I do not write coin flip. That is not like, no, that's what you're doing. The tree diagram should be talking about the results. So if I flip a coin, what goes in my tree diagram?
Heads and tails.
Yeah, heads and tails. So if I'm getting dressed, I don't write the word pants. I have a closet full of pants. I gotta make a choice. I write the colors or the types or whatever information I have about the pants. Then, if I got a heads, I could get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Same with tails. If I got a tails, I get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. You are putting the results. You do not put dice roll. Like, that is not what we're doing. You put the results of your choices or of what you did. This is wrong. So please don't write pants or tie or shirt in your tree diagram. Now, you could write that off to the side. So off to the side here, I could put coin. And then off to the side, I could put, well, really it'd be die if it's a single die. 1 die, a single die. 4, I think most of us are okay on. Ooh, go to the back. A lot of us struggled on this. And probabilities. This is not what you need to be looking at. We might do that. Everyone give me your attention. I don't care if you mastered this or got an exemplary on this. We need to review this because it was from 5.2, and then we had snow days, and we all cared a lot more about our snow days than we did about probability. If I flip a coin, what is my probability of heads? 1/2, right? 50%, but probability we like talking about as fractions. So I flip it first time, flip number 1, and I have a 50% chance of heads, right? 1/2. If I flip it another time, what's my chance of heads?
2 out of 4. Or no.
It's 1/2, right? It's the same coin. It's a new flip. It's 1/2. So when I go to say, what's my chance of getting a heads twice in a row, do I add these up and I say, oh yeah, 2 out of 2. It's 100%. No. And I wrote this on a lot of your papers. And probabilities. I want this and that. What has to happen here? Multiplication. So you wanting to get the licorice and the, like, whatever, the raspberry and the what, you got to find the probability of the first thing happening, the probability of the second thing happening, multiply them, and in this case, a heads and a heads is a 1/4 chance. Yeah. Oh, hold on. Can I review one last thing?
Okay.
Look at 6. A VW, what's that stand for? Is a Volkswagen. That's a car. Sorry if that wasn't clear. B asks a pink and purple car. The VW is a car. Tonka toy is just a toy, but the VW is a car. So you could get a toy, rollerblades, or a car. Like lame toy, middle, like yeah, and like lame prize, middle prize, awesome prize. I mean, a Tonka toy would be okay, but I would take rollerblades over a Tonka toy. All right, if you had a see me all you like, if you correct what you need to correct and you come show it to me, like we'll knock it out, take care of it right now. Otherwise, I just went over everything that like people have been asking questions about pretty much. If you have other questions, you can come ask me, but I would encourage you to like try it on your own. Do not come up to me and say, I need help, and you have nothing like you have nothing tried, nothing written, no work. No, you don't. You need to put in effort. So please identify what's the difference between I need help and I need to put in some effort.
Okay, Mr.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm ready to review.
So let's not make a line. We have 20 minutes. If there's somebody up here, just stay at your desk working on something else. I mean, if we really want to make an order, Sky, you can make me a list on the board.